What's up, gamers and collectors? DGC back with another video, and today we got some really good pickups, got some retro stuff here for a change. Let's jump in and check it out. Alright, so first up, let's jump into these PS5 games, and there's only two of them for once, and then we got some good retro stuff here for a change. So this one is a pricey PS5 game at this point in time. You could say this is like the upper echelon of PS5 standard edition collecting. That being Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana is how you would say that. I always get it confused. It's a mouthful to say. Nice little game here. These come with a nice art book, nice CD soundtrack, and then the game. These are going for about 100 to 120 bucks now, which is really unfortunate. There is an actual limited edition as well. I did snag this for $65 shipped, so a little, still kind of pricey for like an older game. And being this is originally a Vita game, ported up to the PS5. But $65 is essentially the MSRP of the game with tax, so I'm okay with paying that. Plus, this is now my forever copy. That now means I have all the Ys PS5 games, so 8, 9, 10, and Memories of Felghana, which just came out. Well, both those just came out, actually. And then we have a game that I mentioned in the last video that I paid for and pre-ordered on Amazon. Because to my knowledge, this is the only American place you can get this PS5 physically is Amazon. And that being Fantasian Neo Dimension for the PS5. I believe GameStop has it for the Switch. But as far as PS5 goes, in America, to my knowledge, Amazon is the only one selling this for whatever weird reason. And for a while you had to pre-order it, but now I think they're just available for everybody on Amazon. Really excited to play this game. It's got like a nice diorama sets that they made in real life, and they like scan them into the game and blah 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 blah. It's the original Final Fantasy director. The music, I've already listened to some of the music, sounds really great. Really excited about it. This was originally an iPhone game and then came to the consoles, so pretty excited to give this one a shot. Plus, it's only about 20 to 25 hours to beat the game, which to me is the sweet spot of a game, because any more than that is in my opinion, a long game. So for an RPG to be that short and still be getting good reviews like that, it must be pretty damn good. Here is some 360 games. So right here, this is exclusive to the 360, that being Guilty Gear 2 Overture. So one thing I did notice when I got this in the mail was it was pretty damn heavy. This has a 65-page full color manual, and then the further you get back in here, toward the end of this, let's see, it has like all the characters and everything in here, and then like nice artwork, and then some of their basic moves and stuff. Really, like, this is what they took from us. This is what Microsoft and Sony took from us, and Nintendo for that matter. Just 65 full color, full English manual for a game. Man. Good times. But yeah, cool little fighting game there. Graphically, a pretty the Guilty Gear games like stand the test of time with their graphic style. It still looks kind of modern in the sense that like just the art design. Here's a game that does kind of look like butt cheeks on the 360, and that being Dynasty Warrior 5 Empires. This was a launch window game, also on the PS2, but if you want to play it in high def with achievements, the only way to do so is on the Xbox 360. Next up, we have another game, which is a very similar story. PS2, Xbox, Wii, and then high def wise with achievements. The only way to do that would be on the 360, being Bully Scholarship Edition. And then next up, we have Worms Collection, also on the PS3. This is a bunch of arcade games plus the DLC. Physically released, so a nice little collection there. Got that one at GameStop, 18 bucks I think it was, so not the best price, but not terrible. Then we got Army Men Major Malfunction. This one has a good story to it. One, this whole insert is completely waterlogged, which doesn't look like it, but it is, and that was not mentioned on the eBay listing, so that sucks. The disc, absolutely horrific. Looks like a cat just had a straight gangbang on this thing with their claws. So it's a useless disc, doesn't even work. And then the manual is actually pretty fucking crisp. And the case itself is actually nice. So I immediately messaged the guy on eBay. I was like, what the fuck? Like, Why would you list this as very good condition? It was clearly horrible condition. Now, from the look of it, if you were to see a picture like that, you'd be like, oh, that's fine. And then even then, but like once you take the insert out, it's fully waterlogged and wrinkly and just terrible. So I messaged him and I got a full refund on it. And then really, I had to order a whole nother disc and insert for the game just to get a complete copy. Now the funny part is, and I'm not proud to admit this, but for anyone that follows the channel, the Xbox original exclusive set was technically, in its first episode, incorrect. Because Army Men Major Malfunction, which would be an A title, should have been in that episode. Because this is exclusive to the original Xbox. I was not aware of that. I don't know how that missed myself and my cousin getting into the Xbox exclusive list. That is now the second or third mistake that my cousin and I made on that list. Not proud of it. However, you got to own up to it when you make a mistake. So this is technically part of the OG Xbox exclusive set. You do need this one. It is alphabetized with the A section, and it is exclusive to the Xbox. So yeah, not proud of that. I don't actually know how this game really plays yet. I mean, I've watched gameplay, but I haven't played it myself because the disc is fucked. So, still happy to add that to the collection. Waiting on my second copy to come from a different seller to fix that copy. Next up, we got some nice PS2 games here to add to the collection. You will have obviously noticed that the game wall behind me has changed a little. I tried to rearrange it and make things look a little better. We got some PS3 here. Got a huge gap of space for some PS2 games. And then I just kind of rearranged stuff to just try to make it more appealing and look a little different. Try to freshen things up a little. So, big stack of PS2 games here. All exclusives to the PS2. Because if I were to get a game during that generation, I would just get it for the OG Xbox because it's going to play the best on the original Xbox. PS2 is just going to be for exclusives for me. A lot of these I've played. Some of them I didn't play as a kid, but some of these I had as a kid. So I'm happy to re-add those to the collection. I did not have this one as a kid. Killzone 1 for the PS2. This was like $8. Happy to add this to the collection. Really do want to play this and give this a shot. This is kind of a hit or miss game. People either really love it or really hate it. The original one specifically, just because the frame rate is apparently kind of bad. And then this was kind of the beginning of the grays and browns era of gaming. Was this first game? Was really kind of this first game was one of the first games that really did that. And then moved into the PS3 360 generation where everything was gray and brown. Next up, I did get this online on eBay. Jack 1 and 2, $30 for both of these, complete in box. Both these cases are pretty well fucked with GameStop stickers. However, everything else is in really good condition. So for $30, very good price. Happy to add that to the collection. Next up, we have a really cool game here. This was like $8. Heroes of Might and Magic, Quest of the Dragonbone Staff. Definitely worth picking this game up. Had a lot of fun. This is the kind of game you could pick up and play and then come back to months later. And it won't even, like, the controls are so basic, you can just come back, pick up and play and pick up right where you stopped. And it's kind of cool. So the premise of the game is there's the Dragonbone Staff. You have to go find it on the map. You can like traverse the map and you have to just look up some gameplay. This is actually a really cool game, really fun game. You will definitely have fun playing this game. Track this game down. It's not expensive at all. Worth adding to your collection for sure. I almost guarantee you'll have a good bit of fun playing this game for very cheap. So definitely add that one to your collection for sure. Next up here, this is a game I did have as a young man in my teenage years. I think I got this like 08, 09, maybe 2010, somewhere in that time frame. PS2 game, exclusive. Transformers for the PS2. Really good game because if you didn't know, I love Transformers a ton. Probably my favorite show from when I was a kid was Transformers and Beast Wars, same universe. Love the Transformers. Really good game. If you're a Transformers guy or girl, you will absolutely love this game if you haven't played it, but you probably already have. However, if you are not super into Transformers, I would still recommend this game because it's a really well done game. It's just a really good game. They really did a good job. You can beat this game like within a weekend, but you're really gonna have a good time with it, and especially because it's like $10. So you can't go wrong with that. Next up, we got Winback Covert Operations. So this is a remaster of the N64 game, which came out like a year or two prior to this one, but they were like, hey, let's re-release it. So really good game. Visually looks really good on the PS2 versus the N64. Kind of a dramatic upgrade, really. And this is a very early PS2 game. The controls in this game, however, are very weird. And they don't need to be, because the PS2 controller is virtually the exact same thing as the PS5 controller. Has all the exact same buttons, minus the touchpad. So there's really no excuse for the controls being so weird. They had so many options of things that they could have done, but they chose not to. And if you get the game, and I do recommend getting it because it is a fun game, the controls are just really weird. Go into that game knowing that. Next up we have SOCOM 1, SOCOM 2, SOCOM 3, SOCOM Combined Assault, which is essentially SOCOM 4, the real SOCOM 4. I don't know why they didn't just name it SOCOM 4. You know what it might have been? They might have had SOCOM 4 in development for the PS3 at the same time, and then this one released first, maybe? I don't know. That would really be my only guess. I did play this one recently, and I remember playing the hell out of this as a kid, and I played this one a little bit as like a teenager. Never played this one at all. So excited to jump into all these. I'm going to play them in order, not like back to back to back, but like I'm going to play them just to see the progression of like the game mechanics, the controls, the level design, that kind of thing. This is a franchise that I really feel as if Sony could now bring back. Zipper is gone. They demolished that studio, which is a shame. Shouldn't have done that. But I feel as if this could be like every 3 or 4 years they could release a new SOCOM game, and really could do well. They really probably should have brought this franchise back when like Rainbow Six Vegas was super popular during that era. They really should have really went hard on it during that time frame, and I think that's when it would have done really well, just because when Rainbow Six Vegas was out, that was a big game. A lot of people were playing that, and very similar, tactics-based kind of shooter. So I feel like that would have been a good time. But now is also a really good time to release something fresh, tactical, close quarters kind of, team squad-based game. I feel like SOCOM could do well now if Sony were to actually try. And there's a couple other games here we're going to show for the PS3 that are also things I think that should come back in Sony's lineup. Got a healthy stack of PS3 games here, and then we're done with the pickups this time for this episode. Right here we got Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. Super excited to grab this. Definitely want to play it. I assume this has got to be every bit of 40 to 60 hours long, so just have to find the time to do it. $6 game. Definitely worth the price, though. I've heard that's an amazing game. Ratchet & Clank: A Crack in Time. I've played and beaten all the Ratchet & Clanks. They're some of my favorite PlayStation franchise. I wish that Sony would release them more frequently. I would think, again, every 3 or 4 years would be a good lifespan release for Ratchet & Clanks, and I'd be totally fine with that. So the most current one, what the fuck is the current one called? I don't even remember. Rift Apart, which is the one with Ratchet and then the girl. I don't even remember her name. And then the last prior one was the remake on the PS4, and then that's it. And then we used to get like 3 or 4 Ratchets a generation. Now we get 1 Ratchet per generation, because now they're just milking Spider-Man. Here's another Ratchet & Clank game, All for One. This is another franchise like Sony, or spin-off franchise, that I feel like Sony could, 1, just re-release this, and then 2, like doing all for 2, they could make it, or I don't know, come up with some ridiculous Ratchet & Clank name, and release another one in this like spin-off thing. I feel like this was a cool little game that not a lot of people talk about. Definitely grab this one if you ever see it. It's really fun, really solid little game. Very fun co-op game for sure. Resistance 3. I'm a big Resistance guy. I loved all of them. I'm one of the few people in the world that actually beat Resistance Shadowfall on the hardest difficulty. I want to say it's 2 or 3% have that trophy. I am one of them. Pretty proud of that. So I do love the Resistance franchise. Again, another franchise that I really think... I'm thinking of Killzone. Killzone Shadowfall, which is actually our next title we'll talk about in a second. But Resistance is the alien one, where they're like, well, the first one they're in England, and the second one they're in New York, and then the third one I forget where they are. It's been forever since I played these. I need to replay these. This time I'm going to play this with the Sharpshooter. But yeah, Resistance is a franchise I still think that they should... I guess the best way to do that would be to rebundle all three of them on the PS5, 4K upscale it, and then redo it that way to reintroduce the franchise to new PlayStation players. And then Killzone Shadowfall, not Resistance Shadowfall, Killzone Shadowfall was... a game that I beat, and I'm one of the few people that beat the hardest difficulty. So again, I'm pretty proud of that. However, something I'm not proud of is Killzone 2. For whatever reason, I was looking at the trophies for this one. I never actually beat this. I only beat half the game. So I need to restart it and actually beat it, and I'm excited to jump back in. I want to play these in order. And then Killzone 3, I don't know. I don't remember if I beat that one. I remember loving Shadowfall, though. So I do need to get into Killzone 1, 2, and 3. Here's another franchise, or it could have been franchise, from a developer that I don't know if Sony axed them off or if they just help out other studios at this point. I'm not honest. Actually, no, they went their own way. That being Quantic Dream Studio. I don't think Sony owns them, but I guess they went on their own, so to speak. Whereas they were like second party Sony, like they didn't own them, but they released exclusively for Sony. But now they kind of do their own thing. Heavy Rain Director's Cut. This also uses the Move controls, which I would imagine would be the more superior way to play it. I've never played it. Excited to try it though, for sure, because I've heard good things about the game. Here's a launch game, Untold Legends Dark Kingdom. So I did play this for a little while. Graphically, it has not held up well. However, gameplay-wise, this is again a game you could like kind of just pick up and play and get to whenever you feel like, and keep putting it down, picking up, playing it kind of thing, and then like eventually work your way through the game and really enjoy it. It seems like it could be a fun, basic, monotonous game that like is actually enjoyable though, if that makes sense. Let's see. Next up, we got 3 racing games and then 3 expensive games. All right, so these are three really cool games. Sega released this as a launch title for the PS3, being Full Auto 2 Battle Lines. The first game is 360 exclusive. Second game, PS3 exclusive. Largely very similar, obviously, because they're the same game or same franchise. But the levels are different. The cars are all basically the same. Graphics are the same. Really, either version is a good version to play. I own both of them now at this point. I would recommend picking up either one. The 360 one is a hair more expensive at like $20. The PS3 one's like a $10 game. Neither are expensive, but both worth picking up, I would say. Another launch title here, a racing game, Ridge Racer 7, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Still really a head turner. This is a good looking game for how old it is. 2006 to now, 19-year-old game, and it still looks good as shit. This is like a $20, $17 to $20-ish game. For whatever weird reason, I kept seeing like 17 on this, but let's just call it a $20 game. Really good game. Another franchise that's kind of dead at this point, unfortunately. And then lastly, for racing games here, a franchise that I think Sony really should bring back, and there's rumors that it's finally going to happen, because there's currently a TV show for Twisted Metal. This is the last Twisted Metal we got was 2012. Really happy to add this back into the collection. It's about a $20 game, so not expensive. Really worth picking up. There's a lot of not a lot, but a decent amount of unlocks and whatnot, and a decent bit of replayability in this. It's a really good game. Really worth adding to your collection. I really hope that the rumors are true that this is coming back. I'd be very excited for that. I hope that it has just nothing to do with the TV show. Not that I've never watched it, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but I just want it to be its own thing. I just want it to be, Twisted Metal coming back and being its own new game. Nothing to do with the TV show. I don't like when games are tie-ins and this and that, and I just want Twisted Metal as just Twisted Metal. Like a new one, new entry, Sweet Tooth in it, and just, a whole new entry. A reboot, if you will. Now, 3 relatively more expensive, I guess you could call these Grail PS3 games. First up, we have Puppeteer for the PS3. This is a platformer of sorts. Just so you know, this does not come with a manual. So that is the complete in-box way to get it, because there is no manual, period. When you put the game in, it actually prompts you that there's a digital manual that you can download, which is, oof. But yeah, Puppeteer, really cool game, really solid platformer. Definitely cannot wait to jump into that a little bit more and play. Here's another one. This is like that was 40 shipped. This was 40. I think it was like 44, 45 shipped, something like that. 3D Dot Game Heroes, Atlas title, basically a Zelda clone, if you will. Never played that, so I definitely want to jump into that at some point. And then lastly here, this is, I guess you could say, you know, somewhat of a Grail game for the PS3. This is Folklore, which is a fantasy, medieval, dark-esque fantasy kind of RPG kind of game. I don't know a ton about it. I just know that it's like sought after, and I was like, you know what? With a cover like that, I don't, like that one guy with like the weird beard and just the art style of it and the vibrant colors on the cover. I feel like had I known about this back in the day, I would have at least picked it up and been kind of intrigued by it. I don't know. I don't think this sold well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I assume it did not. That's why it's probably expensive. Someone comment down below if you've beaten this game and if it's actually good. I assume it is if it demands the high price and the high praise that it gets. So that's it for pickups. I did want to give a special shout out to my buddy Vinny Corleone 62, aka Dean. That's his real name, aka Escape to Gaming. He's been a little under the weather here. He's part of the YouTube gaming community. He's like a prize trophy of the community. Everyone enjoys him. Everyone enjoys watching his videos. So go support the man. Let him know that you're thinking about him, and let him know. You know, watch him his videos, comment to him, maybe cheer him up in the comments, whatever. Let him know that we care about him and that good stuff. So that's it for the videos, guys. That's it for the video, guys. Those are the nice little pickups here. I didn't do an Xbox video this weekend just because it's Super Bowl weekend of 2025 whenever you're watching this. So really I'm not going to try to compete with that because no one's probably even going to watch this one anyway. But if you do, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it would be appreciated. Peace out for now, guys. Till next time. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for the pickups. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for the pickups. Appreciate everybody watching. Next week we will have some kind of different Xbox-oriented video. Original Xbox. Didn't want to compete with the Super Bowl this weekend, so who knows if everybody's even going to watch this pickups video. Much less try to compete with the Super Bowl is kind of silly, so I'm not even going to try, but I still wanted to get something out for everybody who's not super into football, myself included. Don't really care about football. It's just not for me. More of a gamer. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace out for now, guys. Till next time.
Come here, you mother... This is it, baby.